Good afternoon. Hello, New York State employees. My name is Linda Kerrigan Everett, and I am the EAP Wellness Coordinator and your presenter today for the Wellness Everyday April monthly webinar titled Create and Stick to a Budget. It was the title, the description, or the photo that brought you to the webinar today. And thank you for joining us. We have an overwhelming response, which shows you how important this particular topic is. We have a lot to cover in 30 minutes, and we're going to start with budgeting terms. We're going to share a budget for a couple with no debt and a budget for a couple with debt. We're going to go through a debt snowball to pay off $18,000 in debt in less than 1 year. And we will share many of the Wellness Daily to-dos on creative ideas how to stick to a monthly budget. All right, let's talk budgets, and not the New York State budget. We're going to talk about your budget. So first, are you on a budget? If yes, that's great. If not, I hope we share today what we share will actually convince you to start one. Do you have any consumer debt, such as credit cards, a store credit card, student loans, car loans, a HELOC? HELOC is that home equity line of credit, and personal loans. If you do, I'm going to share with you how to do a debt snowball and to get out of debt, because your debt is costing you and your family a lot of money. Okay, let's begin with budgeting terms. Today, I'm going to share with you a zero-based budget, also known as an all-cash budget. This is the method where you allocate every dollar of your monthly income toward expenses, savings, and debt payments. The formula for the zero-based budget is your monthly income minus expenses equals zero. Let me say that again. Your net income, what you see in your paycheck, minus all your expenses equals zero. So here are the steps how to set up a budget. Before the month begins, list your monthly income and expenses. Subtract your expenses, including your spending money, your debt, your savings, and your bills from your income to equal zero. Track your expenses all month long. We're going to talk about that. A zero-based budget does not mean you have $0 in your checking account. You always want to keep a buffer. So that's about the budget. We're going to also share with you a debt snowball. So if you have consumer debt, which is all debt with the exception of a mortgage, you want to list your debts lowest to highest regardless of the interest rates. Then pay off all the lowest one first, and then we're going to move to the next one. The debt snowball is used to speed up paying for the debt. Okay, so I'm going to share with you two budgets. So we have two couples. Both couples make $70,000 a year. Ironically, folks, this is the average American. They net $4,700 per month or $2,350 biweekly. They both have an $1,000 emergency fund. Couple number one is debt-free. And their goal, they have two goals: to save for a house and a vacation. Couple number two has three debts that amount to $18,400. They're also saving up for a vacation, and they want to save for a house. So let's begin with couple number one. We're going to go into detail with their budget. So please take note of the colors I am using: green, blue, and purple. On top is the monthly budget of $4,700. Note the yellow highlight. This couple number one, is debt-free and are saving for a house and a vacation. The column on the left are the fixed expenses, and the column on the right are the varied expenses. The fixed expenses are bills that are the same amount and due on the same day every month. So let's run down their fixed expenses with their amounts. So they currently live in an apartment, so their rent is $1,200 and due the first of the month. They put $1,000 in a high yield savings for a house down payment. Their insurances, car, rental, life, cost $200. Their internet and cable costs $150. Their cell phone bill is $100. They put $200 towards saving for a vacation. Their gas and electric utilities for their apartments are $150. They donate $100. They also pay a monthly subscription to Spotify to stream music, and that's $10. Their Netflix streaming, yes, remember they're the average American, is $15. And to complete their fixed expenses, their gym membership costs $100 for a total of $3,225. This is everything on the left side, if you're following. So just a few very smart tips. If you set up all your fixed expenses, have them automatically deducted, so your payments are never late, okay? Always keep enough money in your checking account to cover these expenses. This couple is proactively saving $1,200 per month or $14,400 a year. The right side of the table are the varied expenses, which are items in the budget that are different or change every month. The goal of the varied expenses is to budget an amount based on past month's history and what is going on that month. This is where you have wiggle room to make changes in your budget. They budget $600 for groceries, which is approximately $150 per week. Note the blue color. $300 for restaurants. Note the purple color. $100 allowance for each. So they take $100 cash and they keep it in their wallets. Their miscellaneous budget line of $100 is there for something else that might come up. The wife has a birthday in April, so they agreed to allocate $50, and this was what they could afford. They budgeted $200 for gas for their cars, and they have 2 older cars which are paid off. The total of their varied expenses is $1,450. See the top line, the fixed amount, 3,225 plus 1,450 equals $4,700 is zero-based. Every dollar has a job or a category. Now this, just some smart tips for couples. Have a budget meeting at the end of every month to create the budget together, so they're both on the same page. They have goals and have assigned money to each category, and they hold each other accountable. Some months, the varied expenses change based on what is happening. But for the most part, the fixed expenses are the same. But these also can change, so it's important to keep your eye on them, especially if they're automatically deducted. Oops, I'm sorry. Couple number 1 is saving money. They have money to do things because it's budgeted for. They go out to happy hour every Friday. Many people think being on a budget is restrictive, but it gives you permission to spend. Again, let me repeat that. Many people think being on a budget is restrictive, but it gives you permission to spend. Take note of the couple number 1 colors, green for savings, blue for groceries, and purple for restaurants. Couple number 2 makes the exact same amount, $4,700 per month. And they have similar fixed and varied expenses. We've added a few new colors, brown and red, along with green, blue, and purple. There is one fixed amount that is different than couple number one. They have $620 for their debt. All the other fixed expenses are the same as couple number one, but take note, their fixed amount is less, $2,845, which includes $620 for the debt. This is where I want to highlight the color brown within the fixed expenses. Spotify, Netflix, and gym memberships, they're extra. They do not need these to live their life. Other fixed expenses they do need, such as utilities, a cell phone bill, rental, and insurance. Their varied expenses include a $600 grocery budget. Their restaurant budget is a little higher, almost double, $680. Remember, couple number one budgeted $300. Their varied expenses are $1,855. This couple is saving $200 for vacation each month, but they would also like to save for a house. But there is no extra money for that with their debt. They don't even realize how much they're spending on food until they write it all down. And if that's you, raise your hand, because food is where we spend a lot of money when we go out. We will come back to couple number two, and we're going to do a debt snowball. Aha, I see your hands are raised up there. All right, for both couples, it's important. And I say this to couples, but it could also be an individual. So if you're a single person, yours is the same. So I'm just giving you an example here. It's important to track your expenses. Being on a budget means knowing and communicating all expenses that are being spent. This can be done through an app, an Excel spreadsheet, or on paper, whatever works for you. So you see exactly what's happening, especially with those varied expenses. So on this tracking sheet, we've listed the categories. On the top, date, business, amount spent, budgeted for couple number one, leftover in the budget, a code and an explanation. So a helpful tip would be to track it immediately after you spend it. Also, when you plan next month's budget, know exactly what is budgeted and track what is spent and how much is left. Often, this is where your budget gets out of control, is with the varied expenses. This happens when you don't have your eye on it. Groceries, gas, going out, spending money, and miscellaneous are the categories that you need to keep track of. With this sheet, they're tracking everything. So on April 1st, they pay $1,200 for rent. You see that is what's budgeted. There's nothing left over. They budgeted $600 for groceries. They went to the store and spent $122. And on April 10th, they went to Aldi's and spent $100. So they have $378 left for the rest of April. They dined at Chili's, just a restaurant, for dinner, spent $46. So they have $254 left over for the rest of the month. Track your expenses every day, and you'll never be surprised. So next, we're going to go through a debt snowball. I'm going to go super slow through this. A debt snowball is used to pay off your debt in a shorter period versus paying the minimum, which will take you years. So list your consumer debts, smallest to largest, regardless of the interest rate, and pay off the lowest debt first, then move to the next debt. So on the left side, you'll see the couple number two's budget, and that's what we went over. The brown is optional, the red is for their debt, and the green is for their savings. So couple number two has 3 debts, which total $18,400. Their tire credit card is $400. Minimum per month is $20. Their Visa credit card is $3,000. Their minimum is $100. And finally, their car loan is $15,000. Their minimum per month is $500. Their total debt, $18,400, and their total monthly payments are $620. Okay, now the goal of a debt snowball is to put as much money as your budget can afford toward this debt. The minimum of $620 is already in the budget. Now this is where we're going to find money. This couple wrote everything down on paper and discovered if they took from other categories, they could pay it off in 1 year. They would never be able to do that, just paying the minimum. So they find money within their budget. So they made the decision to decrease their restaurant budget by $380 and made it $300 like couple number one. See that pink? That's the $380. They also decided to cancel Spotify, $15 Netflix, and their gym membership. One of the tough decisions was to designate their $200 vacation savings toward their debt. They're going to stay put in 2023 and plan a bigger vacation in 2024. The total amount toward the debt is $1,325. I'll go over it again. $620 the minimum, already in the budget. They add $380 from the restaurants, $10 Spotify, $15 Netflix, and $100 gym membership, plus $200 vacation. $1,320 is double the minimum. The goal for the debt snowball is to find as much money as you can to pay the debt off as soon as possible and still have money to fund your bills. This is how looking at it on paper can help you. Okay, let's go over a debt snowball with 3 debts, and I'm going to go slow, so check out the following chart. So if you have a debt, create a chart and do it on paper so you know exactly how it will happen and how long it will take you. And please don't wing this. Do this before you actually follow through. On the top line from the left is the name of the debt, total debt, minimum due, and the first 6 months, April through September. On the left side, the 3 debts are listed. The tires, the Visa credit card, and the car loan. The bottom is the total amount from the budget for the debt. On the second line is the total debt of $18,400. Watch this number decrease every month based on how much debt is paid. It goes down every month. The next line is tires, then Visa, then car loan. The last line is how we designate to this debt. So we're going to start with $1,325, not $620, which would be the minimum. Now remember, this is all done on paper before you send in payments. The total amount toward the debt is $1,325, and I'm going to call this the shovel. This is how much money we have every month to pay off the debt, and you're going to see how the debt snowball works. Month number 1 is April. With $1,325, they pay the minimum of $500 on the car loan and pay off the tire credit card, and the rest, $425, will go toward the credit card. Remember, the minimum of the credit card is $100, and this couple's paying $425. Again, with $1,325, $500 for the car, pay off $400 for the tires, and that extra $425 goes toward the credit card. After $425 is paid, the balance is $2,575. They're going into month 2 with only 2 debts instead of 3. Month 2 is May. Again, they pay the minimum of $500 to the car loan, and now $825 goes toward the credit card, which is the total of the red from the tires, 400, and the blue, 425. So 1,325 minus 500, which is the minimum on the car, equals 825. At the end of month 2, the balance on their credit card is now 1,750. At the end of month 2, this couple looks at each other. They're feeling good that they can get this debt paid off. And now they're looking for a bigger shovel because it will be paid off faster. They look at their budget at the end of May and decide to put $200 more from their restaurant budget toward the debt. Paying off their debt is more important than going out to an expensive dinner. So now their shovel is $1,525. A few $100s is really going to go a long way when paying off their debt. Month 3 is June. Again, they pay the minimum of $500 to the car, and now they have an extra $1,025 toward the credit card debt. So now the balance of the credit card is down to $725. This is the key month in the debt snowball. Instead of putting the minimum of $100, they are putting $1,025. And this is the last month they have to pay the minimum. Month 4 is July. They pay the credit card with $725 and put $800 toward the car loan. Remember their shovel, $1,525? So as you're making the minimum payments, you're also decreasing the loan every month. And by August, their car loan is down to $11,175. Month 5 and 6, all $1,525 is going toward the car loan. If you need to take a photo of this slide, we are going to be sending you the recording, but this just gives you a very good example of a debt snowball. So let's watch their progress. On the right is my graphic of what you can put on your refrigerator. But I used a very simple debt payoff chart and colored in one box for every $100. They also put the number of the month in what was paid inside the box. So put it up on your fridge. It becomes a visual of what's happening and can motivate you to continue. So in the pink was paid off the tires of $400, and in the yellow paid off the Visa credit card of $3,000 and a good portion of the car. So a huge accomplishment by paying $8,750 in 6 months. At this point, if couple number 2 only paid the minimum of $620, they would have only paid $3,720 and only $120 on their tires. Think about it, where they came to where they would have been if it was only the minimum and they kept going out to eat and they kept saving for their vacation. So now they're saying, you know what? No more going out. We're ready to just buckle down and eat what we need to. So they're going to add an extra $100. Their shovel now is $1,625. So let's finish this up. So month number 6, they have $9,650 to go. Their minimum is $500, but they're paying $1,625 toward their car. Watch this number go down rapidly. In October, $8,025, November, $6,400, December, $4,775, January, $3,150, and $1,500 in February. And then they're done. This couple is now debt-free. Their common goal, and were diligent and paid it off together. Whereas other couples may be arguing about the money, this couple said, we have a goal together. So see how the debt snowball works within your budget. So in 11 months, if they only paid the minimum in 11 months, they would have only paid $6,000. So let's go back to couple number 2's original budget. Their red is now gone. The amount $620 can go towards saving for a house. They put $200 back into their vacation fund, And they missed out going out. So they added the 3 Haiti back into the restaurant fund. They got Spotify and Netflix back, but they moved their $100 gym membership to their house fund. So now have $720 to put toward their house. Now they can save $8,000 for their house, and they can save for their vacation. They didn't have to give up what they loved forever. It was just for a season to get everything paid off. Now, I've been noticing the chat box, you're saying, Linda, where there's no interest rate on here. You are right. I didn't include the interest rate because you know how much interest rates are? They're 20%. So if you have a credit card and you have $3,000 worth of interest, that can be a lot of money. So that is where the debt snowball could make sense. What are your advantages of being debt-free? First of all, it's financial freedom. You don't owe the banks for debt you accrued in the past. You're going to sleep better. You're going to lower your stress level. And when you're debt-free, you can do many things. You can build wealth. You can donate. You can save for your retirement. But the most important thing, folks, is there's no monthly payments going toward debt. It's going toward you, your savings, what you want. So if you have debt, please consider using the debt snowball and finally be rid of it. If you've never been without debt, you will be amazed how good it feels to not have to worry and pay banks for that monthly payment. All right, let's go with how to stick to a budget. That's the second part. Create a budget and stick to it. Okay, first of all is live within your means. $4,700, that's reality, folks. So this is where we get into trouble. It's beyond what you make, and most of the times it's to keep up with the Joneses, the new car, the new wardrobe, the bigger house. Track all your expenses, every dollar, so you know where the money is going. Number 3, stop using your credit cards or getting loans. Every time you see an ad for a HELOC loan for a great interest rate, remember it's debt. Credit card companies spend a lot of advertising money to get you to buy their loan. It's everywhere. It's in your mailbox, it's in the papers, it's online. They want you to buy their debt, just like someone wants to buy a car. So don't go into buying their debt. Have an emergency fund and use it when you need it. For a flat tire, your machine wash is broken. And if you use it, put the money back into the budget and keep that amount at $1,000. Okay? So, budget for larger expenses. You know, those larger expenses like vacations, holidays, auto maintenance, new roof, lawnmower. Stop putting these expenses on a credit card, even a no interest card, because folks, that is still debt. Pay off your debt before you go on vacation, go to eat, spend money on others, or adding to your retirement. Eat at home. Just go out to a restaurant, and I'm going to use you 2 examples. A hamburger and French fries, about $20. Can you believe it? Yes, and that's anywhere you go. A big salad at a nice restaurant, $16 to $20. Yes, for salad, which could cost you $5 to make at home. So say no to yourself. We often say no to our kids when it comes to going out and grabbing something, but it's time to start saying no to yourself. Spending money is 80% behavior and only 10% head knowledge. It takes about 3 months to feel comfortable with a budget, but it takes a while to do it, but it's so worth it. There's this new thing called buy now, pay later. Ignore it, don't do it, don't use it, don't click on it. It's debt, it's debt, it's debt. You don't want that. And don't do this alone. Communicate with a spouse, a friend, a financial coach. So many people struggle with money and they don't want to talk about it because they're embarrassed. But you know what? We're all dealing with this together. So have these conversations with someone you trust. Let's go with tough choices when sticking to a budget. All right, there's a quick one. Going out with friends is a quick way to spend $100 and may bust your budget. Go for happy hour and your drinks and food just got less expensive. That $100 just turned into $40. Quick way to save $60. If you're an emotional spender, before clicking buy now, and usually it's late at night when you're looking at websites, really think about it. Will buying this make me feel better or more fulfilled? Will I be using it in 6 months? I just spent $50 and I don't even know where that went. So really get tough choices. Every single day, go online and look at your checking, savings, deposits, and withdrawals. Check in daily. Daily will remind you to stay within your budget. Okay, this one's controversial with parents, but I'm going to go here. It's tough choices when sticking to a budget. Sports and extra activities for children and also adults can cost hundreds, if not thousands of dollars per year. So be realistic and ask those hard questions. Can our family afford this at this time, or is it stretching the budget too much? It's really okay to say, no, we can't do this now. That gym membership of $100 is $1,200 per year. Piano lessons can go from $40 to $100. Club soccer in the Saratoga region is $1,575. And then if you're a parent and you have a travel team, we're talking thousands of dollars per year. If it's important and your family can afford it, then make it a line item in your budget. Okay, grocery saving tips. Take inventory what you already have. You probably have food in your cabinets. Recipes you already have on hand. Make a list based on what you need. Shop the grocery store in the area that has the best deals. I spent $125 on saltines at one store and $4 at another. Guess which store I go to now? Go once a week. That's $600 is $150 per week. Meal plan all of your meals. Shop what's on sale and shop your own freezer before you shop. Buy generic, buy online so you know exactly how much you're spending. If you don't want to roam around that store, learn to love leftovers. Leftovers. One chicken can be dinner for Monday, chicken salad for lunch for Tuesday, and chicken tacos for Tuesday night. We all know groceries are expensive, but it's also the one area you can spend less or more. Now stay with me on this one. Beans, rice, and pasta are less expensive than steak, lobster, and shrimp. Well, of course so, Linda. But it begs the question everyone asks every night. What do you want for dinner? Could be the difference of $20 for just one meal based on what you want. So 5 meals per week is $100. $100 is $400 a month and almost $5,000 per year. All right, do the budget together. If you have a partner, yes. A spouse, yes. Or a friend. Once per month, set a day and a time to discuss next month's budget. If you're a married couple, combine your finances, and that includes your income and your debt. If you're married, and I'm going to shout out to those married people, don't expect one spouse to manage it. Come to the table together. Avoid doing the budget later in the evening because discussing finances can be stressful and you may have trouble going to sleep. Be honest and commit to going through this together. Be easy on each other. Don't start throwing fingers, throwing blame. That's where those fights can happen, but be easy on each other. Stick with it. It takes about 90 days to set up a budget. And the budget's not just about the bills. What are your goals and your dreams? Couple number one was saving for a house and a vacation. Extra expenses to put in your budget. We added the birthday, right? But, there are other things that families have. Hair appointments can go anywhere from $100 to $300 per month. If you have pets, groomed, vet appointments, toys, food, boarding, I don't know, $200, $300, maybe $500 a month if you have pets. Children's activities, clothing, car maintenance, Summer camp, people are paying over $1,000 for summer camp right now. Everyone has different hobbies, and every hobby has an expense to it. So how much are your hobbies and putting to those? And then we have house maintenance, your seasonal, which you plow in the winter, and then you have yard work in the summer. I will say, those renters don't have any house maintenance. They just pay their rent. They don't have to pay those other things off. Okay, so I want to highlight New York State because we work here, and there are wonderful financial benefits that you can get through payroll deduction. All right, first one is the flex spending account. Sign up at the end of the year, and this is pre-tax dollars, healthcare, dependent care, adoption, nice ride. So I went to the eye doctor the other day, and I had to pay for my contacts, $200. I took out my flex spending and paid for it with that. It didn't come out of my budget. It had already come out of my check, so I wasn't even worried about it. This can also be done for, you can pay for pre-tax dollars for payroll, dependent care, adoption, and also nice ride. Use these programs, folks. They're going to save you lots of money. 529 program, we're going to have EAP is sponsoring a program on Monday, April 17th from 12:30 to 1. Your EAP coordinators will share some information on how to save for college. And also, New York State Deferred Comp is a way to save for your retirement. And I'm going to be very clear about this one. Save for retirement after you pay off your debt. The April challenge, we have one every month, is to write down your zero-based budget and track your expenses for the next 2 weeks. You can do this. If you set aside a time to come here today, we hope that you will consider joining us for the April challenge. There's a follow-up on Wednesday, April 19th. If you came to this live, you will receive an invite to join us. Plus, we'll also share 10 more ways to stick to your budget. Today's daily to-do, every day, we have an email that goes directly to your email, and you can sign up for that with our website at oer.ny.gov/wellness-everyday. And I just want to share 4 quotes with you. And I know I'm over, I apologize, but I wanted to get through all this information. Here's some great quotes. Every time you borrow money, you're robbing your future self. And if you borrow money, I want you to say that to yourself. Success doesn't come from what you do occasionally. It comes from what you do consistently. And that's with tracking. It's consistent. A budget is telling your money where to go instead of wondering where it went. Yes, Dave Ramsey. And then probably one of my favorite quotes, because so many people beat themselves up about what they did in the past, is the past is like using your rear view mirror in the car. It's good to glance back and see how far you've come, but if you stare too long, you'll miss what's right in front of you. All right, there are so many resources that we could use, and I'm just going to send you on search. Search Debt Snowball, search Financial Freedom, how to create a budget, baby steps. We can also go to americasaves.org, which can provide you more information. Wellness Every Day is a part of Work-Life Services, which are joint labor management programs that benefit New York State employees, and they're jointly funded through collective bargaining units through the state of New York and the public employee unions. All right, folks, thank you. Thank you. In closing, I just want to share that quote again. A budget is telling your money where to go instead of wondering where it went. I hope this information was helpful. And I see in the chat box, some of you are appreciative. Thank you very much for joining us. You know, if there was one thing you learned and you said, you know what, I'm gonna start doing this, just type it in the chat. Just tell us what you plan to do on making this a priority in your life. Because you know what, if you make this decision today, it's really going to help your future self. The next monthly wellness webinar will be fitting in your favorite physical activity on May 3rd. If you have any questions, here's my information, Linda Kerrigan-Everts, linda.kerrigan-everts@eap.ny.gov. Thank you, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us. We hope you have a wonderful day.